What's up, gamers? How you doing? It's John. In this video, I'm going to review the new 1942 mini arcade cab by New Wave Toys, part of the Replicade line of arcade games. They have great ones like Centipede and Tempest. Street Fighter 2, for example, is another one. There's also Asteroid just came out, and can't forget about Dragon's Lair. So there's a handful of these available. I did recently pick up also this coin charger, it's a change machine, but what this is, it's also a charger. So there's a bunch of USB slots in the back, and you can display your whole mini arcade and have them all plugged in playing at the same time, which I think is a really clever idea. I love this line. This is a 1/8 scale line. Obviously not as heavy as a real arcade cabinet. If you had a full-size arcade cabinet, that thing would weigh well over 250 pounds or more. This thing is really high detail. It's wood finish, which is awesome. 1942, this one just came out, but it also includes two games. It includes this in 1943. So this is the first time that they've released multiple games in one cabinet. There is this dip switch. There's a switch where you can switch between both. You notice here it says Romstar on the top. That was a company that was out of California, I believe, that actually licensed or brought games from Japan into the North American market. They worked with companies like Capcom, of course, SNK with the Neo Geo line initially. They also worked with Taito with games like Bubble Bobble. Use Romstar as a name. There was Ghosts and Goblins, also was Romstar, which is Capcom. I'm really hoping that Ghosts and Goblins will be a future arcade cabinet that they will release a part of this line. I think they've released like 6 or 7 total. They did announce they're doing a Q*bert, which is awesome. They did pre-sale for Q*bert, which is very cool. I love 1942. This game is classic. It came out in 1984. This is the first game really Capcom developed for the Western market. And what I find really ironic about the whole series, because this is the first of multiple games in the series, followed up by 1943, Battle of Midway, which is an awesome game as well. But what's ironic about this game, it's developed by Japanese, and the premise is to kill Japanese in World War II setting. And the goal is to go and fight all these Japanese, which is ironic, but I don't think they really cared too much about that. They wanted to make a great game, which they ended up doing. 1943, between the two games, is definitely better in my opinion. You have the co-op mode, which is cool. What's awesome, what they did here is it comes with a mini controller here, which is awesome. You have to have it plugged in, but what's awesome is you can play 2-player co-op on 1943, which is cool. So without any further ado, let's take a closer look at the packaging. Let's take a closer look at the game itself. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll go from there. Thanks. I love what they've done with the packaging. They've done a really good job with the packaging. It is 11-inch in size, 11 inches in size, height-wise. It's fairly light, which is awesome, and it's portable. It's got a built-in lithium battery that you can, once you plug it in and charge it, you can take it to go with you. Not quite sure how long the battery lasts, but I played it for several hours without any issues. These are the other games that they've coming out with in the line. There's 4 more. One of these is probably Q*bert. I was thinking Star Wars would be awesome by Atari, but that'd be really hard to play with a yoke controller, I'm sure. Here's the side art here. It's promoting also 1943, which you can switch between because with the controller. Now they are coming out with a 1943 cabinet as well. I haven't gotten that yet, but I do have that ordered. And once you open it up, look at the attention detail here. You also have this thing here, which is cool. So, and plenty of styrofoam packaging. It does come with a helpful instruction manual. Let's open this up. It comes with some mini quarters, which is great. They're not really doing anything, but they're cool for aesthetics, for looks. It has a top secret instructions here. It's a sticker that you can put on the game as well. Here is the instruction manual. It is in English. I believe it's in Spanish and German, various different Italian, different languages, and pretty basic instructions, nothing too complicated, which is nice. Kind of plug and play, which you would expect and hope to find in a unit like this. There is a company that also is called Quarter Arcade, and it's by Numbskull. It's another line of mini arcade cabinets. Those are slightly bigger. I believe those are quarter size, since the name Quarter Arcade. So they are slightly bigger in size than these are. They have Pac-Man and Galaga and Galaxion and some other games like that, but this is a really cool line nonetheless as well. Okay, let's take a closer look at this bad boy here. So here it is, closer look at the actual cabinet itself. First notice that it's got the lit up marquee, which is awesome. I do have it on attract mode, so meaning when I'm not playing the game, I'll show some gameplay playing. I do have it turned off when I'm not using it to conserve the battery. These things retail for $150 US. It is limited number. I think they made about 5,000 of each model, so there's 5,000 of these made, 5,000 of the other 1943 created. So it is limited, and I noticed secondhand these things go quite a bit on eBay and other sites. I've seen that Dragon's Lair and other games like Centipede have gone for as much as like a regular full-size arcade cabinet, which is incredible, like $400, $500, which is crazy. But the attention to detail is really good. Of course, you got your joystick here. You have your fire, your loop, your 1-2 player. There's not enough space to fit 2 players on this thing, of course. So what they did, they included a separate controller. It is wired. There's a USB on the back, and there's a micro USB on the back of this. All you have to do is plug it in. They did the same thing when they came out with Street Fighter 2 as well, which Street Fighter 2 is obviously a game you want to play in 2-player, a lot more fun playing in 2-player. I thought that was really smart. There was a storage unit in the back of the Street Fighter 2 unit. There's not a storage unit on the back of this one that I can see. So on the front, this is where you have your coin up. You can also go to options here, which I'll show that in a second. You notice here, it shows instructions what to do. There's a ROM start logo I was mentioning before. Love the marquee, the attention to detail. You can turn scan lines on. It is automatically off when you take it out of the box. But if you like the scan lines feature, it is on there. Same side here, same artwork. Here's the back. You have your speakers here in the back. This thing lasts just like it's going to open up, but it doesn't. I love the high voltage thing because that's what the original. You never want to touch a monitor on a real arcade cabinet because even if it's been, decharged for a while, it still holds a charge in some cases, and if you touch it the wrong way, it can shock you. You have 2 USB ports here, so you can put 2 controllers. You can purchase the controller separately as well. The micro USB charge. Here's your power on and off here. You can turn on, turn off. Your volume controls. There's a wheel there. This is kind of a uniquely shaped arcade cabinet, even more so, just like the 1943 is a little bit more your standard shape. So this is kind of a cool shape, and it really fits. It really fits nicely when you put it next to other ones in the collection. Okay, so we'll go and start. Let's go hit 1 player here. Actually, we got to put our credit in. Now that's the loudest it gets. It gets pretty loud. We'll put 1 player here. I'm going to turn it down slightly. Fire. Now in 1942, you can loop. There was a lightning attack in 1943. The music, in my opinion, is much better in 1943 too, as well. They just improved the response. They just improved the overall gameplay in 1943. And in this one, 1942, you get hit once, you die. In 1943, you actually have an energy level. Okay, you can hit this right here. This is your option screen. So you have your game select. You also have your difficulty. So you can do normal. You can do hit left, right, easy, or hard. You can do a marquee light. It can turn on or off. So I can turn it off or on right there. Backlit. You do the brightness. How bright do you want it? The brighter you have, I'll put in the middle there, it drains the battery a little faster. Player 1 and 2, switch. Scan lines, we'll go and turn those on, see what those look like. Starting lives, you can adjust it to 5, 2 to 5, or 1. I don't know why you want to start with only 1. We'll go to 5. Bonus lives, and you can do like what level score. And this is where you select your game, so 1942 and 1943. So go select that. Return. You can see the scan lines now are on. I don't know, well, the camera's picking that up, but I can definitely notice it. Really tight controls. Now if you hold the button down, the fire button, it does fire, but it fires at a much slower pace. Much better to tap it. See, I already died. Game's much harder. Let's go check out 1943. It takes a few seconds for it to load once you select it. There's a short delay to load. We'll put my credit in. And I'll put another credit in. I'm going to do 2-player. So I'm actually playing with this controller now. Obviously I can't play. You can see the scan lines are still on. I can't play both at the same time, or it would be really hard to. So now I'm playing actually the first player with this thing. I control the second player like this because I have it plugged in now. So I'm just getting, but there are weapon upgrades here as well, which is cool. It's such a great classic shooter. I mean, I'll tell you what, this series, the shooting game, and this was ported to the NES and the MSX and a whole bunch of computers back in the day, and a handful of consoles in the 80s, 90s. But this whole series was really, for me, it really, just like was how Capcom really set the standard for fighting games, right? Including Street Fighter 2, of course. they did the same thing with shooters here. This is, when you look at other future up and down shooters, this 1942, 1943 is kind of what I look at as far as kind of what started that popularity, because this game was extremely popular in North America and did very well. The series itself has done very well. I think they've released some versions in 2000s for mobile, for example. So really cool cabinet overall. I'm kind of curious what you guys think of it. Let me know if you guys, what arcade game would you like to see kind of miniature version of? I'd love to see, of course, Donkey Kong and the Nintendo license, but I think that's a little bit more tricky to get, I'm sure. But that'd be really cool. My only suggestion of this thing would be to have this more Bluetooth, so you don't have to plug it in. However, I'm sure that's just to do with cost, to keep the cost low. They've always done an incredible job with the quality. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting, liking this video as well. Let me know what you guys think of this game. We'll see you guys soon. Take care, and of course, game on.